Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have two great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story: owner's daughter stands firm against entitled mother's unwillingness to pay. The second story: standing firm, resisting an unreasonable request from a desperate boss. The first story is: entitled mother refuses to pay. So for about 3 years, I was between 12 and 15 years old. My dad owned a pub. I'm from the UK, and until my health got bad, I used to chip in the majority of the time cleaning, washing up, serving, waitressing, etc. So this story takes place when I was 14 on one of the busiest nights, Halloween. For those of you who don't know, Halloween is chaotic for pubs because loads of adults dressed up in costumes and constantly come in to get hammered. Normally I would have stayed upstairs. My dad lived above the pub, just minding my own business, sitting at my dad's desk sometimes answering calls for him, since he was downstairs helping the staff cope. However, on this day, one of our servers had called up saying they weren't going to be able to do their shift since their kid had fallen ill. That was understandable. These things happen. The shift they had is normally called the graveyard shift, midnight until closed. Anyways, so there wouldn't be many customers, right? So I could cover it. Wrong. Oh, I was so wrong. When I got downstairs to cover the shift, there was still loads of people, and this is where it began. I was taking the drink order of someone when EM, entitled mother, walks in with B1, Brat 1, and B2, Brat 2. It was midnight, mind you. B1 was a 4-year-old girl and B2 was a 7-year-old boy. I saw them, made the mistake of making eye contact, and then went back to taking the customer's drink order. NC, nice customer. Me, to NC. So your table wants 2 list drinks, correct? NC, yes, thank you. Me, alright, I'll add it to your bill. Already had 4 drinks between him and his buddy. NC, thank. EM screamed from the other side of the room. EM, excuse me and my babies are thirsty. Yes, she actually said that. Me, one moment and I'll take your order. I go to the bar and give the bartender NC order. As his order is being prepared, I went over to EM and her brats. Me, hello, how may I? B1 cut me off. B1, give me a cola. Me, a little annoyed. 1 cola, got it. Anything else? B2, I need lemonade now. Me, looking at the EM. And what would you like, ma'am? EM, who was looking at her phone whilst her babies ordered. Give me an order's the most expensive beer. We have something like Stella, I can't remember too well. Me, okay, so you want List's order. Would you like to pay now or open a tab? EM looking at her phone. I don't care, tab. Me, okay, I'll go get your drinks. I went up, gave the bartender her order, and took NC's order to him. After about 3 minutes, her order of drinks were done and I brought them to her. Not moments after I set the pop on the table, she screamed. EM, what's this? Me, that's your children's drinks, ma'am. EM, excuse me? I didn't order those for my babies. Me, yes, but your children ordered them, and when I read the order back, you didn't say anything. So I assumed you were okay with it. EM, I wasn't listening. They're children. Can't you see they're too young for pop? B1, but mama, I want that drink. You said I could have anything I wanted. EM, I know, baby, but pop isn't enough good for you. If you want something sweet, have your packet of wine gums. For those of you who don't know, wine gums have one of the highest sugar contents of all sweets in the UK and are really bad to give to kids. Then EM turns her attention to me. Honestly, I was expecting her to give me trouble and ask me to swap the drinks out. Entitled customers have asked this before, and I guess it's what she meant, but EM turning her attention to me. Take the pop. I want 2 fruit shoots. Me, okay ma'am, I'll grab them now. With that, I took the pop to the bar, took the fruit shoots to her and asked, me, would you like your bill? EM still looking at her phone whilst B1 and 2 are eating a huge bag of wine gums. Yes, yes. Me, cash or card? EM, cash. She then hands me a £10 note before I can even tell her that her tab is $11.60. She looks at me when I don't leave and snaps. EM, why are you still there? Go get my change. Me, sorry ma'am, but you still owed $1.60. EM, what do you mean I still owe money? I paid for my drink and my baby's fruit shoots. Me, but you still owe money for the pop your kids ordered. Now, normally I would have took the pop off the bill or let her only pay for 1 if she was a regular, or if she had said something when they first ordered the drinks, so we didn't make them. But she was so rude and her brats had made a mess of the table, leaving me with more cleaning up than I already had before. EM, my babies didn't even drink the pop, so I don't have to pay for it. I just looked at her, then spoke. Me, ma'am, in a firm tone. You owe $160. Pay up or I'm getting the owner. I was so done with her BS and wanted to cry out my frustrations, but I just gritted my teeth instead. Plus, my dad would be able to handle her much better than me. EM, good then. He'll explain why a child thinks she knows better than an adult. That was it. I had already dealt with one Karen that week already, which meant I was on a short fuse, so when she said that I was done with dealing with her, I grabbed my radio from my apron pocket. Everyone on duty had one, and spoke. Me into the radio. Dad, can you come to X section? I have a problem customer who won't pay all of her bill. Her face turned white when she realized she was in fact speaker to the owner's daughter. Before he could even come, she opened her purse, producing the money she owed, threw it on the table. It fell on the floor, picked up B1 and stormed out with her brats, barely touched her beer, but B2 put the fruit shoots in their Halloween sweet bags. My dad came and asked where she was, and I explained. He let me and the bartender have the untouched pop and poured the beer away. He was proud of me for how I handled this one without him, and how I didn't cry. The last Karen I dealt with brought me to tears, and my dad had to intervene. Oh, it's great when selfish and arrogant clients get a well-deserved lesson. This mom seemed to think she could do anything, and that her kids were the center of the universe, but you quickly stopped her and showed her that the rules apply to everyone, even people like her. Her reaction to your determination was classic, all whining and threats, but when she found out you were the owner's daughter, her plan fell apart. Her attempt to humiliate you and call you to the table went in vain, and she was forced to foot the bill. Most importantly, she left without her beer, which is the perfect ending to this story. Now, she might think twice before trying to scam someone in the future. You've shown strength and skill in dealing with difficult situations, and your patience and confidence are to be commended. Next time she shows up at your pub, she might be more respectful and polite, but if not, you now know how to deal with it. The second story is, new boss is upset I'm resigning and relocating to a new state. She's requesting I write a manual on every step I take to do my job in 2 days. How do I professionally tell her no? I've been at this new company for 4 months. I needed the job in a pinch, but the company's stuck in the dark ages and severely underpays everyone. The workload is heavy and they earned over $2 billion in profits last year. Shocker, still refuses to address the issues. I recently graduated and applied to grad school out of state. While waiting for admissions, I got an amazing job offer I couldn't pass on. I accepted immediately. I submitted a formal resignation letting my boss know this is final. She has since then requested a meeting every day to change my mind or give her more information about where I'm going, the new pay rate, and how to do my job. She cannot lose me but cannot match or beat the new offer. Ultimately, her last team walked out on her and I know of 3 people headed out after me. We're down to the last 11 days on site, and I refuse to give her any information on my new location or anything relating to my new job. Now she insists I give her a manual of how to create our internal booklets that cover all things HR, from benefits, upcoming events, mental health, employee recognition, etc. I cannot begin to explain how I created this, edit it, or the technical aspects required in just 2 days, her given deadline. I use 4 editing softwares to achieve this, as well as create an online version in English and Spanish. After requesting a more flexible and realistic deadline, offering a remote contract to stay part-time until a replacement can qualify into the position, or offering a freelance rate position, how do I explain professionally that I cannot write a manual about how to use an application on a technical level? I went to school to learn how to create interactive programs and demos. She's not accounting that this is not an easy learned skill. I'm out of time as I wrap up a beta testing program I built for our huge company. The testing alone will need the remaining week to hand off to IT to implement and go live. If she can't compromise, I don't know what else I can do. Is there anything I can say that will get through to her? Edit. This is a newly created position. I started from scratch, so there's no training guide to rely on if they want to use what I have set in place. Update. Once I clocked in, I decided to type up a contract and present it to her. I was ready to do so when I got handed a stack of projects and was told to pitch in. I politely refused and went back to wrapping everything up. I was then out of the office dealing with IT issues for our program beta testing when I looked up and saw my boss staring at me through the office glass. I excused myself and went into the hallway. She was peeved and asked to talk with me. I rescheduled with IT and left for her office. She said she went through my drive and found my work and needed me to walk her through it now because she can't see why it's so hard for me to just write it down. So I did just that. I used every technical term I could think of. Nearly 5 minutes in, I stopped and said, "Now how would you like me to document what I just said?" She looked ready to cry and said I could go back to my desk. I thought it was a victory. However, on her way out, she told me to get with my backup and to reapply for my position when I come back in town. She'll hold the job for me. I reached out to this person to give them a heads up. As of today at 18:07, this person informed me they will be out for 2 months at minimum and left this week on leave. I thanked them and asked if our boss is aware. My boss approved the leave and has now scheduled me to train a person who's not physically in the building to work. I think she forgot. So now I will not be following up on any of this and will be cutting back until my time is up. Fingers crossed we make it to the finish line. Final update. Let's get into it. Due to legal advice and reasons, I'm not able to post any communications like I want to. If and when I get the green light, I'll post it. As many of you have guessed, my old boss did not handle my departure well. From what I'm told, she's still struggling mentally and emotionally, basically taking it out on anyone and everyone. My typical day in my final week consisted of meeting after meeting where she would rant about me negatively to the whole team and create unreasonable demands to add this or that to the manual. I want to be absolutely clear. I never created a manual, and I intentionally told her no every chance I got. She took it as far to demand I change my original resignation in my exit interview. This is where I lost all my F's to give. I didn't change a word, and proceeded to write the most critical review I've ever given. I then emailed it to her boss and myself. She had no choice but to leave me alone. After the exit interview, I cleaned my desk. All notes shredded, managed subscriptions lapsed, demos returned, and any pending unapproved content, material, or media removed. Equipment was walked to IT. My project never went live. All my accounts disabled, and I only having all the passwords made sure to reassign generic passwords and then leave it alone. My replacement came back from leave early, but due to the pain they were experiencing, couldn't even stay awake to discuss anything. I would just let them sleep. My boss was peeved to learn I wasn't making them stay awake the whole day. When she was reminded that I'm not doing that, I spent the whole day getting yelled at. We did zero training. On my last day, I literally did absolutely nothing. I took a long lunch, walked the floor, and enjoyed good breaks. Towards the end of shift, people were panicking asking me questions. Calling and texting, not once did I follow up. I took my time to block all numbers, then left early as soon as payroll captured all my punches. Currently, I'm enjoying the new city, my new job, and spending time with my boyfriend. My stress is all the way down, and I'm no longer worried about my karma. I have a great home life now, and a great salary to assist with therapy. While I'm overwhelmed with the change, I'm happy and safe. I can't talk about the new job, but it's a 10 out of 10. I've already been offered a 3-day paid vacation since the leave renews soon. They care about my difficult transition. I do get calls, texts, emails from the team. It's always about help or how I left them high and dry. No one can pick up the projects nor explain to business solutions the next phase. Per my old desk mate, our supervisor is asked to bring me back remotely and or send a conditional offer to negotiate. So I'll be changing my number and getting a new email ASAP. The offer requires me to move back in 1 month, write SOPs for my job, and provide technical training to all department staff. Pay, not mentioned. Ha, no. Tell me, does your former boss definitely deserve this kind of care? She seems to have been so incredibly uncooperative and completely unable to make the decision to let you go that it makes you laugh and marvel at the same time. Perhaps she should think about how she treats her employees if she's driving them to the point of running, and she can't even handle creating a manual. And here, this attempt to get you a manual for a technically complex job in 2 days is kind of absurd. She apparently thinks you're just amazingly capable of doing anything. Well, you have a new job and new horizons, so she might get a lesson again in how to respect and appreciate her employees. And of course, your decision to refuse her demands and just leave the company looks like a win. Let her now sit back and deal with the consequences of her attitude towards her employees. Good luck in your new city, new job, and happy life without such bosses. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.